Takes us just a couple of seconds to go live on Instagram. And there we are.
Konstantin can't enter to our studio.
Yeah, so welcome everybody to a special holiday edition of Meet Your New Neighbors from Brain Drain Unlimited Foundation. This is our weekly show where we explore different topics and meet different people to introduce you a little bit more to the nature of our work and our mission, which is to help displaced professionals rebuild their career in the United States. Now, before we get started, I have a very special announcement to make that even Tamara may not be aware of, insofar as we have a very special Brain Drain Unlimited contest going on right now. Did you know about this one, Tamara?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Tamara, and today we're talking about traditional for Christmas and New Year in USA and Russia.
Yeah. So before we get started, as I said, we are giving away a t-shirt for the holiday season for Brain Drain. We are in the middle of a push to build our subscriber base a little bit. We have a lot of good information about immigration and interesting people from all over the world and all kinds of positive news that we'd like to share with you. We never overwhelm your inbox. Matter of fact, I owe the email list an email before the end of the year right now. So we encourage you. We're going to share the link, but it is braindrain.work/giveaway. We'll be sharing the link on social media. The prize is pick any one of the items on our online merchandise shop, except for polos. They're a little bit more expensive. And we'd love to send you a t-shirt. All you have to do is, there are a few things you can do to earn entries to the contest. You can add your email address. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. But anyway, enough. Without further ado, on with the show. Today, as Tamara said, we'd like to talk a little bit about the holidays. After working with the team for almost a year now, we're coming up on our first Brain Drain Christmas together. As with any time of the year, especially this time of the year, there are all kinds of different holidays and traditions, no matter where you are in the world. And I've learned a lot about particularly the Orthodox tradition. Because with Brain Drain, right now we're focusing on helping people escape some of the conflicts going on in Europe right now. So I'm going to bring up some of my notes here. And the first thing I thought of, we don't have enough people online.
Eric, can you share the screen with Konstantin?
Share the screen.
Link to our StreamYard.
Oh. Yeah, he should be just going to StreamYard in the studio. And let me see how to do that. I know there's a way to do it in stream, but invite. Here we go. Invite guest. Copy. There it is.
Great.
So yeah, that'll be exciting. Our co-leader, our co-founder, Konstantin, from inside Russia, is going to be joining us for a little bit. Our other co-founder, Manis, is otherwise disposed today, and our other team members are traveling and making plans for the holiday. So, Merry Christmas. In French, that would be Joyeux Noël. In Spanish, that would be Feliz Navidad. How do you say Merry Christmas in Russian?
Счастливого Рождества.
Nice. Nice. So
But
Tamara,
for
do you know any other languages to say Merry Christmas?
no,
No.
Merry Christmas and счастливого Рождества, and that's all.
Nice. Nice. Now, in the States, or as our Russian counterparts would call it, Catholic Christmas, but most of the world celebrates Christmas on December 25th. And I don't know if you know the history of that, but a little bit of the history I know is that originally December 25th was a Roman pagan holiday, and they chose the date arbitrarily of December 25th so as not to misalign and not screw up the calendar. I don't know a lot of the history about the Orthodox calendar other than your Christmas happens to fall on the same day that the Catholic calendar commonly calls as Epiphany. So
yes, we are celebrating our Christmas at 7 January, but the main holiday for Russian is New Year. And it's more common and popular holiday than Christmas. And we have a corporate Christmas, and even in my previous job in Russia, I had 2 or 3 corporate parties at my job. For example, with legal department, with another part of the departments, and even holidays party with my husband's company.
nice. And those take place normally at the end of the year?
Yes, absolutely.
For New Year's. So what do they do for parties? Is it like in the States where the whole company gets together at a fancy restaurant and everybody has to dress nice?
Yes, restaurants, disco, big party, fireworks. Oh, Konstantin is here.
Yeah, here's a fearless co-leader. We were just talking about Russian office parties, Konstantin.
Howdy, friends. Can you see me?
Yes.
I seem to be offline. I don't see anything. Hang on.
Yep, we used to have the traditional office parties too back when I worked in corporations. And when I worked in Switzerland, that was a big tradition. I worked in a small family-owned company, and that was my first taste of what they call a gastronomic meal, where you go and you sit for about 6 hours, and they bring you all the different courses of food. And I think that was one of the first times I tried foie gras.
Okay. Looks like I'm back. Howdy, friends. Howdy, Eric, Tamara, everyone.
Hey.
Folks, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling too well. Running on empty. Sorry. I made a commitment, so I had to show up. Let's bring some holiday spirit.
Well, that's the spirit
Ho, ho,
of
ho.
brain drain. Yeah. That's the spirit of brain drain, is we suit up and show
Yes.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something is wrong. I've been sleeping literally 16 hours a day for 2 days now, and I have to cancel my main stream today, upcoming one. I guess I can't do it. Postpone it until tomorrow.
It's that time of year, and it's the winter solstice. It's the shortest day of the year. And
some bug in the air here in Uzbekistan. We had snow, by the way. We're having
really?
like whitish Christmas. Yes, that's why I'm allergic to snow. That's what it is.
I just had a conversation with a client about me being allergic to snow because, of course, I've been in California now 10 years and I've only seen snow once. But I would make the exception if someone took me to the ice hotel in Sweden so I
Oh
could go
boy.
see the
Oh boy.
Northern Lights.
Oh boy. No, thank you, but no, thank you. I lived for, I don't know, I lived in Moscow from 2004 to 2012. Then from 2011 to 2022. So that's a long time. And it's like living in a Swedish hotel, ice hotel.
And then you moved to Maine. And then you became a ski
Yeah.
instructor.
Snowboard, yeah, both snowboard and ski actually. Yes, yes. Maine was better than Moscow because Maine had much more sun. In Moscow, it's so gloomy in the winter. It's like you don't see sun from October, and that's what kills you. I remember one winter was particularly bad, and I had a corner office at my work with like two large, huge windows, which was like the best office, on the corner. And I remember I was sitting there, and it was afternoon on one of those days in December or in January, and all of a sudden I saw sun, and I stopped working, I stopped doing everything, and I just started looking at the sun. It was like a little hole in the clouds, and the sun was shining.
Like,
And for half an hour, I was sitting there looking at the sun, literally, and that was quite something. And that was the only time I saw sun that winter. So Maine, it gets huge snowstorms. They're called nor'easters. And it's I'm waiting for this very extra strong tea to kick in. I just received tea from Qatar, but it is not, my sleepiness is not connected with the tea. Tea is legit. It's fine,
yeah,
it's not Novichok.
That's what you were saying on the stream, that you got a little holiday, a little Christmas gift from Qatar, some new twinings.
So a little off topic, Eric, get this. Tamara, I canceled my stream yesterday because I sleep all day, not enough time to get ready, and then I get to the stream time and I'm just empty, So I postpone it for today. And people notice something is off, and they immediately start emailing me saying, Konstantin, are you sure that tea is okay? It's like 3 or 4 emails. And then one very big blogger calls me today, and I don't want to, tell who that was, but he's like, "Are you okay, dude?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine." The tea came from a very reliable source. It's not about tea. It's about something else, But anyway, Maine gets so, I don't know. I love Maine. Maine is such a great state. It had balance, huge snowstorms, and everyone gets out there to shovel snow, which I don't mind once in a while. Physical exercise, it doesn't hurt us, right? We need it. And then everyone gets out and takes care of their yards, driveways, and then the most important thing is that city the shovels all the sidewalks completely very, very fast because they're afraid of lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
Once everything is shoveled, they put some kind of either salt or some kind of like white stuff, chemical stuff, and it dries all the walkways up. So they're not dirty, okay? You're walking on a completely clean sidewalk, and there's white snow all around you, although it's been shoveled.
Mm-hmm.
What they do in Moscow is that they use some kind of chemical liquid that melts ice and snow, but it doesn't evaporate. It stays there as water. So you're walking around and it's minus 20 Celsius, minus like 15 Fahrenheit, and you get puddles everywhere. And you
So they
literally
don't-
get into a puddle, and then 2 months later, 3 months later, your shoes, they start disintegrate. Okay.
So they, instead of
Uh,
shoveling, they de-ice the sidewalks.
They shovel too, but instead of I don't know, they shovel a bit and then they spray with the stuff. They don't even like sprinkle, they spray literally. There's a huge water-like thing drives around and sprinkles that stuff. And that's Moscow. In other cities, they don't do anything. Literally, there was a huge snowstorm in Rostov, and it looked really big nor'easter style, and no one came to the rescue. The city was paralyzed for a week. And then Attorney General office started investigating why the services were not provided. And it turned out that they were a large number of special specialized plows. Don't quote me on that, but either 100 or a couple hundred, but they were on paper. They didn't exist in reality because the money had been stolen. Okay, so they had nothing to shovel. The entire city had like 3 or 4 large trucks, and that was it. Nothing was done. No criminal case, no arrests, nothing. Because those folks from the mayor office, they shared some of that money, I guess, with the Attorney General office. And then, so Rostov never shoveled. In Moscow, but Rostov didn't snow much. In Moscow, all that snow was dirty, and that was killing us because it's grayish snow. It's dirty, and then by February you have piles and piles of dirty snow. Maine was completely different. Maine sparkled because this snowstorm comes and it goes. Okay, and the next morning you wake up and sun shines and there's very bright sun, and this is great mood that the storm is over. So that's the difference for you.
Well, the states is about to say, it depends on which states are prepared for it. In states like Dakota, we're more like Maine, that we're prepared for the snow. We know what to do in the winter. Now, I have friends in Texas, like where one of our colleagues is visiting, and it doesn't snow that often down there. And they were joking. I visited them and they said, well, when it snows down here, we get out our snow plows. And I asked, I said, gee, you have snow plow? It doesn't snow that often. And they joked. They said, their snow plows is a couple of immigrants in the back of a pickup truck and a pile of sand. and they drive around and they shovel sand on the snow. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we had a bunch of those, not immigrants, but Mainers, in trucks going around, and a lot of alcoholics, a lot of students, a lot of people without teeth. I was always in those trucks because I would make extra buck when I was going to school, like anytime. So I knew all the guys who were in charge of like different districts of the city, like shoveling, and they had my number. That called me, hey, see, this is we're on tomorrow, and then 3 a.m. I get there, and then pick me up on the truck and drive around. Okay, this is your part. $20. So $15 an hour, I think.
How was it for you, Constantine, to come over to Maine and experience Christmas for the first time?
Oh, that was great. It was great. First Christmas was the loneliest Christmas ever. Hang on one second. Let me pull something up here. First Christmas was lonely. I was alone in the dorm, okay, and everyone left. I lived on campus. I lived in Portland on Congress Street, right in the heart of Portland, and literally everyone was gone. The only person besides me in the dorm was the security guard, and I think he went home for Christmas. So my Russian friends left. Some went to New York. I don't remember why I ended up being in Maine, in the dorm by myself. But anyway, it was very lonely. I didn't know what Christmas was about, but I felt that something was very odd. Okay. I don't remember what I did. I think I listened to radio, something like that. We didn't have TV there. We didn't have internet. Um, New Year was a bit different. I hang out with friends, Russian community friends, and anyway, it was okay. But then when I settled in Maine, when I not network, but found friends, it was absolutely incredible. One of very touching moments. I love America. America is people for me. Okay, and I remember Maine, fantastic people everywhere, everywhere. I worked on campus. I tried to work as much as I could to make money. I worked off campus. I worked in Old Orchard Beach in the hotels. Um, Everywhere I met fantastic people, and I remember it was a great fella. Don't remember his name, like very simple American name, John. I think it was either Bob or John. And he was a custodian, full-time custodian. He was not very educated guy, but he was very good-hearted, and he was driving a Kubota truck, small truck, and they gave me they gave me to him as support, to do manual work, things like that. It was on campus work. He was taking care of our campus. And I remember we were driving around the truck and doing things and cleaning and taking up big piles of trash, moving things like leaves on the ground, things like that. And of course we shoveled. And I remember it was close to Christmas, and we started arguing about the role of president in the U.S. System, and we certainly didn't disagree. It was a very heated argument, and then we kind of changed topic. And then he looked at me, Konstantin, what are you doing for Christmas? You're welcome to join our family if you want to. I mean, in Russia, that doesn't happen. That was such a touching moment. And he meant it. And he invited me over to have Christmas. And I already had made plans. And I told him, but I'm so thankful for, gosh, it's been so long. I kind of like forget if I went to visit his family or I went somewhere else. But I remember him giving me this offer from the bottom of my heart. Right after we had like a discussion, we didn't fight or anything, but it was a fantastic moment. And I remember that then I got married, and obviously I grew a large family overnight, and then we went to my ex-wife's mom's part of the family, then dad's part of the family. And I remember it was very warm. Americans work hard, but then they have this wonderful get-togethers where they just it's really like warm, and they warm with their hearts and their love. This things like Thanksgiving and Christmas, of course. Sometimes we got together on 4th of July, but Christmas was special. It was, I don't know, it's fantastic. It was fantastic. Russia is not like that. It's different. In Uzbekistan, it's not my culture. It's nice, but it's alien, a bit alien to me. But when I got to America from Russia, I fit right in. I felt it. Oh, this is mine.
Yeah,
So
I think
it's great. It's just it's what life is all about, really.
I think America. I think you would find in general most places in America, whether people are religious or not, Christmas is kind of a time of year where most people celebrate. And I know even myself, I've had several offers because clients and people know that I don't have family out here. And so people ask me, "Oh, what are you doing? Do you have plans for Christmas?" Nobody wants people to be alone at Christmas time, which I think is a great spirit at this time of year.
It is
So I
spirit.
don't
It
I
is
don't have
spirit.
any Christmas trees this year. I see Constantine has his Christmas tree.
Uh,
Did you ever go in Maine to cut down your tree?
No. Oh no. No. My ex-wife was very how do I call it? She was very eco-activist. So she
Mhm.
didn't like real fur, and then she didn't like real trees. We always had like plastic trees until we came to Russia. And then she switched to everything natural, and she was fine with that. you know, I remember she was such a opponent of like real fur. In America, she'd always make a scene when she saw, oh my gosh, poor animals, and poor mink, and then we moved to Russia, and then about a year into living in Russia, we walked by a store and beautiful mink overcoat, and I remember the price, $10,000, which is back then it was insane. Well, it's still insane, but back then it was more insane. And she looks at it and she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful." And I'm just standing there saying, "What? What? What did I just hear? Well, what about those poor animals?" She goes, "Ah, they're dead anyway." That was, and then same thing about the trees. We always had like a natural, like a real tree. And I was like, "What about the plastic?" She goes, "Well, they already cut it. Might as well use it." What a change Russia did to her, you know.
So
So not
speak.
in Maine, but in Moscow, yes, we always had. In Rostov, Natasha and the girls, we had a wonderful plastic tree, and I personally don't like the idea of real Christmas tree. I'm sorry, I'm not like crazy about this eco activism stuff, but I'm just using common sense. Imagine how many years it takes for a tree to grow, and then we just cut it for a couple of weeks. So we have this
Yeah,
behind me is
I'm
plastic
kind of the
tree.
same way as you. I've had
Yeah.
a couple of real trees. Back when I lived in Chicago, there was in Old Town in Chicago, there was always the little tree lot on the corner, and so that was a tradition. A couple of years when I had a girlfriend, we would have a date and walk down the street and go get the tree. The problem is you never. I always remember when you go and when you take the tree out, carrying it out to the trash, it's pretty easy to take out, but you never remember how heavy they are when you go to pick them up. So that's always what I remember is it was 2 blocks back to the apartment, and every year trying to be a macho man, and the guy saying, "Are you sure you don't want help carrying the tree home?" And I would I would always say, "Oh, yeah, I've got it myself." Yeah,
Ooh.
but,
You remember in my childhood, we always had real trees. We had a choice between pines and those trees with much shorter pine trees, certain different kinds of pine
mhm.
trees anyway. And then my dad always carried the tree, and it was like such a joy for me because it was something new. And now I'm thinking retrospectively. Back then, I didn't understand what it was. We loved New Year. We didn't have Christmas, but New Year. We loved the Christmas tree. We loved the whole everything with it that came with it because our lives were so bleak back then. New Year celebration it gave color to our lives. It gave new smells. It gave a break. Okay, and that's why we all loved New Year. Now I realize that 40 years later.
Yeah. I
And I
remember
remember
reading
one of the what's
I
that?
remember reading something about oranges, like that would be the special
Yes,
thing,
clementines. We never had oranges because oranges was luxury. It was only for Communist Party members. The nomenclature. Oranges came from Cuba, from Latin American countries, and it was like real luxury. Okay, I only tried oranges twice or three times until I came to America. We had clementines, those small little things. They grew in Soviet Union. they grew not too far from us in Georgia. And then we had not plenty of those, but once in a while, my parents would bring us 3-4 kilos. That's what we had. So up to 10 pounds because it was very expensive. 3 rubles per kilo. That's, I remember well. And I loved those and I ate them, in a blink of an eye. And my parents were always got upset with me. It's like, leave some for New Year. Okay. And then I absolutely loved them. Yes, it was also a luxury, but more affordable. Never oranges, real oranges. Tamara, what about you? Did you have clementines when you were growing up? Mandarine.
Yes, of course. I still have this kind of fruit at my table. As about my childhood, as Constantine, we have a live Christmas tree, and we always waited Santa Claus. He called in our culture Ded Moroz. But one day I found the gift hidden in the oven, and I realized it was my parents all along.
Oh no.
Yes.
How old were you then?
5 years old.
Oh.
And in the Soviet era, it was a big deal to get a box of mixed chocolates from your parents' employee. And nowadays, if we're talking about gifts, gifts are now is more practical. And for nowadays holiday, for instance, I gifted myself a trip to Shanghai.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't gift anything to myself this year. Staying in Tashkent. No trips. I'm just trying to fall asleep and get some sleep, Enough sleep. So I have enough energy for the entire year next year. Friends, I see that quite a few came from Inside Russia channel, so please forgive me for canceling today. I'm running on empty. I slept all day and then I kind of like still want to sleep. And it's not tea. Tea is legit. Okay, it's not Novichok. Oh.
Yeah. So I was trying to think. I didn't give myself anything this year. This year I got a very nice tray of fruit and nuts from one of my clients, and I've gotten a couple nice gifts, just small gifts from the family. And I bought myself a new phone. That was my Christmas present to myself.
Great.
Did you say new phone?
Yep.
What'd you get?
I ended up buying last year's Pixel phone, Google Pixel phone.
I've never seen one of those. Only in America.
I'm going to try and load a different operating system on it to be a little more secured. But probably I'm making more of a Christmas project for myself than I need to. Being the tech guy I am, but
I broke my phone.
Oh,
I can see that. Yeah, it's an old phone. It's just all iPhones are the same. But I would hate to replace it because it still works fine. It's just the back of it is broken.
I'm the same way. So we have some. Let's see. If we have any comments? Oh, somebody said that they hauled a bunch of. Used to move lots of Christmas trees at the Home Depot. Yep, that's true. In the United States, even here, they have every big box hardware store. It seems like they'll block off part of the parking lot this time of year, and they're full of Christmas trees. In the big cities and in the smaller towns, it's more of a family-oriented effort. it's usually the same family every year runs the Christmas tree lot at whatever corner. But in the States here too, the big corporations get involved as well. So
Hmm. So what does it mean? You don't have real trees any longer?
oh yeah. Yeah, but they'll also sell the real trees they'll sell in the parking lot, and then they have the artificial trees inside.
What? It's real trees with artificial trees inside. Inside you mean they sell artificial trees inside the stores.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One
Yep,
of
you
the
can buy
saddest
artificial.
moments in my childhood was when the Christmas tree was out of commission, usually 15th of January or 10th or something like that, and then it was taken down. We lived in a huge tenement block with like 1,000 tenement blocks around us, so it was all like stone jungles. And my dad would take the Christmas tree. We lived on the 6th floor. I don't know, just those old gray Soviet buildings everywhere, and then in front of each tenement block was a little yard. Okay, he would take a Christmas tree and he would throw it from our balcony from the 6th floor, and then would walk down, would pick it up, and there were like piles and piles of old Christmas trees. Imagine,
Yeah.
we had 250 families living, 250 apartments living in a very condensed place, and then imagine, so 250 Christmas trees, and they never removed trash. They never picked trash up. I don't remember where the trash went, but so there were like huge piles, and then adults would come out, and evening they would burn it right in there was a huge fire right in our yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
here
was
in the apartment.
sad. And they by the time they were out, they would be absolutely dry, and they would burn so fast. I remember it was so quick.
They have in the apartment complex here, I know that we have the trash, but they have designated days. They will send out an email to us and they'll say, if you have a Christmas tree, you must put it out between this and this day to go get recycled. Because they will have that here. They do have like you can put it out to have your tree recycled. So at least it doesn't go into the landfill. They'll chip it
Hmm.
up or whatever they do with it. But now I never had any cats around my Christmas tree. What about you? Did you have any cats growing up?
Yes, we had a cat. His name was Mars, and he did he did like to play with a Christmas tree, and he liked to redecorate things, and he'd jump on it, and well, I remember that was fun for a couple of years. That was yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. And then I knocked a Christmas tree twice, and it fell down.
Mm-mm.
I was teenager already. It's crazy. I would have to get it up again so my parents wouldn't notice and like
Well,
decorate it.
I remember stories and I've seen pictures from our Scandinavian roots of before electric lights was the thing, they would actually put candles on the Christmas tree.
Holy moly,
And
that's dangerous.
in Scandinavia, there's a celebration called Santa Lucia, which is the celebration of lights. And one of the, don't quote me on the whole celebration, but part of the tradition is the youngest daughter gets up early in the morning to prepare snacks for the whole household. And part of the tradition is, for the oldest daughter, they wear candles on their head. And they're supposed to walk around with candles on their head and serve coffee to everybody else. Obviously, that can be dangerous, walking around with
Well, Eric,
candles.
that's what happens when you don't see sun for a very long time in Scandinavia. It's very dark, for many, many months. So,
Yep, that's about right. No, and then the
Oh, we have quite a
giving.
few people in the live stream chat. We have Jodes, Richard Warner, Eric, Jodes, Scott Nesbitt. Scott, good to see you. Sam the Legend K, Amir. Howdy, 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 everyone. Jens, we have anyone else? Eric, Corby, Corbin House, Scotland, Scott Hall. Okay, howdy, friends, howdy. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. I'm not going to live stream again. If you're catching up tonight, I will record a video and I'll make a premiere tomorrow. So something is up here. But anyway.
Yeah.
I have a question to Eric.
Yeah. What's up
Do you
tomorrow?
have a special Christmas food?
Do we have Christmas special food? Well, I think it depends on everybody's family in the United States. But for a lot of people, the Christmas tradition is very similar to Thanksgiving. So, for example, in our family, a lot of times if we had a turkey at Thanksgiving, we would have ham for Christmas. So Christmas ham is a tradition. But a lot of the same foods as Thanksgiving, like mashed potato, green bean, lefse. I don't think we have any special Christmas cakes, but nothing special. But I have to ask you, in doing my research for social media, the two things I heard about were Olivier salad and herring and a fur coat.
Yes, we have a very strange food in Russia. Especially my favorite dish, herring and the fur coat, селедка под шубой.
Is that your favorite? Tamara, is that
It
your
was
favorite?
my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
But yesterday at the morning, I received from Konstantin a great tip. When you are in a new country, you should eat what the local eat.
Yeah.
It was my big mistake. Ordered this kind of salad last Friday, and now I have a little problem. And as a Konstantin, I sleep all day. We are on the same page. But in my Russian life, it was my favorite dish, holiday dish.
So you'll have to look up for Americans who don't know what it is. It's
Oh,
kind of
Yes,
fun,
it
it's
is.
kind of
Don't.
funny looking.
Just
It's like
don't.
it's a fish and
Just-
it's decorated in a way to look
Yes,
like a
it's
Santa.
boiled potatoes, carrot, onion, beets, salted herring, and a lot of mayo, of course.
Yeah.
Oh
Russians,
my gosh. This
my
friends,
mayo.
my advice to you, don't even look it up. I can't even get close to that stuff.
Don't
I
try
avoid
this dish in
looking at it
Uzbekistan.
at the Christmas table, you know. Not
What
just
about
in
you?
Uzbekistan. I've no.
What about you, Kostya? What do you remember? Any special foods?
It was more not about food. It was always Olivier. Obviously, Olivier is a potato salad Russian style. I hate mayo. I can't stand it. I don't eat it. But I somehow tolerate it in this particular salad. This is odd. This is a mental thing. Because my parents always made it for New Year, and I linked it to festivities, to the joy, to the spirit of the holiday. Then we always had mashed potato. We always had chicken, roasted chicken, and yeah, it's like different homemade salads. That's pretty much it. Nothing special. Nothing. Absolutely. It was never about food, and we didn't have much food. Literally, my parents would have to go like for days before New Year and get different kinds of food. We needed green beans, like chickpeas for salad, for a special salad, and that was always a shortage of those. And then mom and dad go around hunting for that stuff, and everyone was around was hunting. So it was just like regular food.
Konstantin, what about holidays?
I can't stand that. No. There's two things I hate. I don't eat, I don't get close to it, I don't smell it, I don't look at it. As a herring thing, as shuba, селедка под шубой. And then холодец, which is meat jello meat.
Oh,
It's like meat and jello. Thank you, no thank you.
yeah, no. Yeah, my Scandinavian roots, we have a few things along those lines that I'm not a big fan of. Sauerstroming, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, Scandinavians and stinky fish.
Yeah, I've heard of that herring that is rotten, something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a cousin of селедка под шубой. That's herring fur thing. Only
And
it's
what
not
about
rotten in Russia,
caviar?
but it's nasty.
Yeah,
The famous
caviar.
Russian caviar.
Yeah, that's not as big of a thing in States, but
Look,
how
we were
about you?
lucky to have mashed potato and chicken. I mean, caviar. Really. I wish we had caviar.
But for people with money, it is a popular thing in Russia, right?
Caviar?
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, you know what they get? If you mean like the red caviar, salmon caviar, then they get just a tiny can usually, and then they do spreads, a piece of bread, a little bit of butter, and then spread of caviar. Well, I'm not a big fan of caviar, so I can't really afford it, and you know, I tried
Yeah.
black caviar. It was, believe it or not, but it was affordable and accessible when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And of course, it was not sold in the stores. But my mom bought it. I was very sick. I had asthma when I was very young, and the doctors uh, told my parents to feed me well. So a couple times they bought this cans of black caviar in the black market. People who used to fish, they would catch sturgeon because we lived next to the sea of Azov, and there was plenty of sturgeon back then. And then they would just take black caviar and sell it. I sold it. Mom said it was expensive but affordable one to buy once in a while. But then when perestroika came, that disappeared. There were no sturgeon any longer. So I tried black caviar a couple times. I went to Turkmenistan. They 4 weeks ago. They gave us black caviar, but it was fake. It was not real. That's very odd.
Yeah. I've tried it a couple times at the aforementioned gastronomic holiday dinners and a couple times in business class on the plane. But yeah, I never liked it either. Maybe
They
it's
serve
an
black
acquired
caviar
taste.
in business class.
Yeah, depends on the plane.
Wow.
It probably
Yeah.
wasn't the toppest quality, but international business class, yeah. What else do we have on the list? Music, movies, film. I know in the States there's several classic movies that are must see, just kind of like Thanksgiving. So old movies, there's The Holiday Inn and White Christmas. That's a famous one. Or there's Miracle on 34th Street, which is all about the
Very
Santa
famous.
Claus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Several versions of that. Of course,
What's
there's
this?
the Christmas story
Christmas
about
Christmas story. The Christmas story.
yeah.
I think I think I told story in this live stream how I watched it. Right?
No, was that when you went
That
to the
was
arcade?
no. It was a Christmas. One of those Christmas in Maine Christmas is in Maine, and I was with a family, and my father-in-law, something we were talking, and he's like, "Well, we gotta watch the Christmas Story again." I said, what is Christmas Story?" And he looked at me appalled. He said, "You've never watched the Christmas Story, the movie?" And I said, "No." He goes, "We've got to watch right now." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "They're playing nonstop all day long," and they really did. It would
Yep.
end and they would start again. It was,
Yep.
"Now we're gonna wait until it starts, like 30 minutes, and we have to watch it. You must watch it." And then we actually watched it. It was funny. I liked it a lot. Yeah, you're
I
gonna
think
shoot your eye out.
yeah. I think they still do that on one of the channels here. Of course, TV has changed so much because no one tunes in anymore to TV, but that's what it always used to be, the 24 hours of Christmas Story on TBS. And like Constantine said, it would end, the movie would end and it would start again.
Yeah, so I watched it. I watched it a few times over the Christmas.
Yeah. And then
That
It's a
was
Wonderful
fun.
Life. Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a famous one.
I must have watched it. The name rings a bell.
What about
Christmas
in
on the
Russia? Do you have
34th Street was.
any famous
Oh yes.
Christmas
Oh yes.
movies?
Tamara can tell you all about it. Tamara, what do you watch? What other are movies on Christmas?
Oh, we have
Not on
a
Christmas,
lot
on
of
New Year.
movies. It's an old Soviet movie, but I hate them absolutely, and I prefer to watch at the midnight New Year online stream Relicants as we are now.
I know some
Luckily,
people
I
like to
don't
watch
have a
Putin
TV.
saying
Yeah,
congratulations and all.
I
Oh,
was gonna
no,
joke.
not Putin.
I was gonna joke, but then I thought, no, I bet you no one on this stream will be tuning into the Kremlin.
We don't tune into that guy anymore.
No, but that is a big
Yeah.
tradition in Russia, though, correct? Is to wait for midnight for the address from the Kremlin. For a lot of people.
Not from the Kremlin, from the president. That's the
From the
thing. If it
president.
was from the Kremlin, it'd be okay. Like the entire team would get together and all of that. But that's just one man, the strong man, gets out and usually says, "Friends, we've had a wonderful year. Next year is going to be even better. But we must unite behind me. We must act as one nation because we're surrounded by the enemies, but we will prevail." There you go. I gave you a preview of what Putin is going to say this year.
Normally here in the United States, everybody's eyes are tuned into New York, of course, for the ball drop. And once that happens on New Year's, then like out here on the West Coast, then it gets, well, the parties happen out here till midnight, but we're one of the last people to celebrate the New Year out here on the West Coast. So
I remember I was watching that Big Apple dropping by in New York. I was on TV. It was in Maine, in one of the clubs. And then everyone kept telling me, "Look, there's a tradition to kiss a person." And I tried to kiss a girl, and she punched me in the face. It's like I thought it was a tradition.
I tell the people one time when I was about, I was about 22 or 23. I remember I was just out of college. I was living in Chicago, and I don't know what happened. It just so happened a flight to New York came up for New Year's, and it was something like $70 round trip. It was just so incredibly cheap. It was like a last minute. So a friend of mine and I flew into New York literally on New Year's Eve, took a taxi down to Times Square. But the problem was we didn't realize any of the logistics of Times Square is that you have to get there really, really early and get your spot. And then all of the security in Times Square is It's not like you're standing in Times Square and you can have a big party and walk in and out of the restaurants and go to the bars and do. No, not at all. You get to Times Square and you get put in a fenced off area, and then you can't leave again. If you leave that area, you can't get back in.
Someone
So
takes your
when,
space, and then
well,
so-
it's for security. Yep.
Mhm.
So when you're watching all those people in Times Square out there dancing around and doing all this stuff, I guarantee you, most of the people are dancing because they have to pee so bad because there's no place to go to the bathroom and they've all been standing out in the cold for 6 hours.
Kind of like if you go to a big concert, that's the same thing. If you want in the front row, you want to stand
Yep.
there, you have to get there as early as possible and just stand there and hang on to the, this little fence they put up. We went to see Rihanna or Madonna or no, it was like a famous singer came to Tashkent, like not too long ago, a couple
Oh,
months
I
ago.
remember that. Yeah. Who was that?
Yeah, is it
Was it
Rihanna?
Jennifer
Beyonce?
Lopez.
Ah, Jennifer Lopez. Yes,
Yeah,
there you
J-Lo.
go.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We just got there early and then we hang on to and you can't leave because if you just walk away, then I'm gonna let you back. There's too many people, and anyway. Oh, what is the best way to feel Christmas vibes in LA? I have never. It was my only Christmases. I think I went to New York once. Eric, Tamara, and everyone. It's sad, but I start forgetting things. I forget. I remember I was in New York, but I forgot if I ever been to the Times Square or not because I've been quite a few times there on New Year, but not. I mean, not on New Year in general. So it was one time outside Maine, and the rest Maine New Year was nothing like Russian. Maine is a small place, the whole state. Portland is the biggest city in Maine, but it's only 60,000 people. That's less than lived around us in Moscow in sky rises. You know what I mean? In one city, like small, tiniest part. So nothing so exciting. LA, I really would like to learn what it is like in LA too.
Yeah, so the West Coast is a little bit different for Christmas time because of course today it's a bit chilly out here today, but it's 15 degrees, 61 Fahrenheit. Yeah, a little bit different tradition. For example, in San Clemente, we had a celebration on the main street called Putting on the Glitz, where you go down and there's bands and little shops and stuff that you can go and they have Santa come down. All of the palm trees, like at the entrance to our neighborhood, a lot of the palm trees are wrapped up like candy canes. So that's a tradition. They'll light up the palm trees with lights. Down at the shopping mall, you can go and see it snow 3 times per evening. So I could go down at 6 p.m. and see the fake snow. But other than that tradition, it really depends on the weather, not so much as in other parts of the country. But for example, this year we have what's called a Pineapple Express rainstorm coming in, and it's going to rain about 20 centimeters or 5 inches of rain over the next 3 days.
Ooh.
On the other hand, there have been some Christmases where I've been in the beach and I've had shorts on. So just really depends. But tradition-wise, it's American traditions, just without the snow. A little bit more laid back.
Hey, you want to hear a story about a great New Year celebration?
Sure.
It was 2007 and 2008, 2 years in a row. I went to celebrate New Year with my friends to Egypt. when it was the legendary time when money was flowing in Russia plentiful. We were all so financially well off. Everyone was just earning a lot. And then the companies would give everyone, it's called the 13th salary, meaning at the end of month 12, you get on top of month 12 salary, you get one more salary. Okay, and all kinds of bonuses, and things were so good back then. So, and everyone in 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 9 and 10 tried to get out of Moscow because everyone worked real hard. And Moscow, well, I drew you a picture of how Moscow is this time of year. It's dark, it's gloomy, it's dirty, it's there's black snow everywhere. It's puddles of chemical liquid on the ground, and anyway, and everyone is rushes to finish the year. So in our business, in energy business, we finished our year on the 22nd today. 22nd, because that was the day of the energy worker. День энергетика. That's the longest night, the shortest day of the year. And all the people who, were in the energy business, constructing, maintaining power plants, that was our day. Okay. And then we never worked on this day, only congratulating colleagues, partners, and drinking. So everyone would start drinking in the morning. By the evening, we would be absolutely drunk, the whole company. Okay. And then there were like all departments would get together and drink inside their rooms, inside the areas. And I was walking and then drinking with everyone. And that was just a good time. And then our management never pressed anyone to work after that until, and of course, starting December 31st, we would get 12 days off paid by the employer. So it was like Russia in the good years. So, and people tended to take vacation time, a week of vacation. So then that way you get almost 3 weeks off. Okay. And it's not your vacation time. It's just a little bit of vacation and then very long holidays. And then everyone was trying to get out of sight of Moscow because they could afford it. Turkey was very cheap, very affordable, and it was warm. I'm sorry, Egypt. Turkey was colder. Everyone went in the summertime to Turkey, but Egypt, another popular destination was Dubai, but it was more expensive. Thailand was really $1,000 for a ticket, but then it was really cheap in Thailand back then. Now it's not so cheap anymore. So some went to Southeast Asia, and those folks with lots of money, like top managers, they usually went to the Maldives. Well, I was, when I say like well off, it's not like we were millionaires, but we were just making good salary. Okay, so I would get the 13th salary, and I would usually go to Egypt. I was single at the time. And someone from my work, a buddy of mine, would just accompany me. One time I had a friend from London who visited me, who brought me this tea, by the way. He visited me a couple of days ago. That's why I think after his visit, I'm feeling, because I didn't sleep first night. I was meeting him at the airport. I didn't sleep second. Anyway, so we went to Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh. It's Sinai Peninsula. If you look at the map, it's right next to Saudi Arabia. And it was great. It was great. And the only people who were there for New Year celebration were Russians and Ukrainians. And we threw like biggest parties. We would bring alcohol with us, and then we would just drink, and we would make friends. And we were always drinking with Ukrainians, fantastic guys. We would always hang out there. And 2 years in a row, I went to the same hotel, and I met a lot of people in that hotel. And next year, we all returned. It's like half of the hotel. I already knew familiar faces. And then I remember we were flying from Moscow and they were, imagine that, Eric, Tamara, they would bring Christmas trees with them as a carry-on inside the plane. I saw a few of them, okay? Decorated in all this glitzy things, shimmering things. And then people would start drinking on the plane. And it was like a huge party on the plane. And flight attendants hated that. Okay, but they couldn't do anything, right? There weren't any laws back then that you couldn't drink on the plane or anything like that. So it was fairly free. And people would be like, "What are you bringing? Are you bringing pickles?" Yes, we're bringing a jar of pickles. What are you bringing? We're bringing like this huge bottle of vodka, and we're bringing a mayo for Olivier. And then, believe it or not, but the women usually would cook things like handmade stuff, Olivier salads, and they would bring fish. And certainly, this Egypt cuisine is very specific. Okay.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if you have been to Egypt, but it's dry, it's spicy, it's what they have in whatchamacallit, in the desert, that type of thing. The desert it's desert everywhere, so it's influences the way they eat. And then we eat differently, so this huge celebration, and like Russians and Ukrainians would bring their own small world in the hotel, and it's so great. And it ended before the Olympics, I would say, 13, because things started getting worse and worse economically in Russia, and people couldn't afford to fly to Egypt anymore, fly abroad. They ended up staying. And in 2006, I actually stayed in Moscow by myself. I had just divorced, and I was not feeling well, so I stayed in Moscow for New Year, and I celebrated. My friends invited me over, so it was like celebrating with them. But then I left, and in the morning, I remember I wake up January 1st, and I see this unbelievable picture. It's like zombie apocalypse, because there's no one. Moscow is literally empty. Okay, that's because everyone was somewhere having fun, celebrating. Now, it was just Moscow because people were earning a lot more money than in other places in Russia. Like Rostov, no one would fly on New Year in Moscow. But in Moscow, people just, and I remember flying out, airports were just full of people. The 26th, the 27th of December, the 28th, the 25th. The prices would just double because it was such a huge demand. And it was quite some time. Now they don't do that. That's no. People with money, but not too many of them. Very few, the ones that profiteer from the war. They probably still fly to Dubai and to Maldives, but it's like even those who work in the office, like secretaries, accountants, like managers, salespeople, they could afford that. You know, they were earning so much back then. Russia was really being showered with money back then.
Yeah, I think in the States, at least from the numbers I've seen this year, I think travel is still pretty solid, still pretty strong. So this time of year, the airports are extremely busy. I know a lot of Americans. Now, America is a little bit different than some of you Europeans or people that are living other parts of the world, insofar as we don't have such a thing as a company-wide shutdown for 2 weeks. We don't have like the summer holidays or the winter holidays like you do in a lot of other places in the world. So it's not as common for a mass exodus of people all at a certain amount. But before Thanksgiving and before Christmas are the busiest travel times of the year. So in the States, it's always big news. All it takes is one weather system, this week in particular, and the entire travel in the United States gets messed up because it's a trickle-down effect. The snowstorm happens here, and the planes can't get to other places. But yeah, always a hectic time of year.
Eric, do you know what I recall living in the United States? There was always some kind of problem on Thanksgiving, on Christmas. It was always like,
Mhm.
oh, traffic is backed up, I-95 northbound or southbound or whatever, this snowstorm. And I remember watching Weather Channel. It was always like a drama.
Yeah.
Always. I loved watching it because there was always something new. It was always action. And I remember every single time, oh, the flights are delayed on the eve of this Thanksgiving, and there's a big storm coming in and all of that. So it's like constantly, almost like every year.
Well, yeah,
They say it's
that's
so big, it's always snows someplace.
yeah, and that's what they're warning. That's what they're warning this year. So of course, well, that is a tradition in LA, is make sure you don't get stuck on the 10 freeway going out of town because uh, about a week beforehand, they start giving the travel forecasts around LA, and they update it every day. They say, if you want to leave for Christmas, here are the best times to leave the city. And then give you the hours of which hour you should leave. Because it can literally take you 20 minutes to get out of the city, or it can take you 4 hours. And those of you in Moscow know about traffic.
Oh yeah, Moscow's Eric. It's the worst I've ever seen in my life. It's Moscow was not designed for the amount of people and the amount of cars, plain and simple. It was designed around Joseph Stalin, and the paradigm back then, the philosophy of was public transportation, subway, for about 3.5 million people. Now, when I when I was leaving Moscow, there were 25 million people and like 5 million cars. And then
Yeah.
back at Joseph Stalin, the Russians were not supposed to have personal cars. It was just very few cars going on the roads that belonged to the state. That was it. And so they designed Moscow due to certain standards, the streets width and the density of apartments, and there's no parking for personal cars in front of apartments, because I think they designed parking for like 5 people out of 1,000 would own a car, and now like 200 out of 1,000 own a car. Okay, so it's just a huge mess. That's what Moscow is, and I haven't seen anything worse than that. Perhaps Tehran, but their problem
Mhm.
is not so many cars, and there's so many mopeds and motorcycles, and they just don't care about traffic lights and rules, and they're just chaos on roads. In Russia, they obey the rules, driving rules. There are cameras everywhere. It's just a huge amount of cars, and I've been to LA. I drove I-5. Is it the Golden
Yeah, the
State Highway?
405. Yeah.
Yes, go. And I mean, it was backed up in the evening. I remember a few times, but it's nothing compared to Moscow. Moscow is absolutely worst in the world.
Yeah, I will say that at least in the traffic in the States, is people generally follow the traffic rules. Unlike other parts of the world where traffic rules are kind of optional. I think that's one of your
Mhm.
stories about Uzbekistan, isn't it? Of kind of the optional
Well,
traffic.
here, yes, Uzbekistan is much more relaxed. It's much more, how do I say? People love each other. They respect each other. They don't. It's really hard. Eric, you should come and visit one day. You should get it. Manos has been here, so
It's
he
on the
knows.
list.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe next
yeah.
year we keep
in
this thing going.
it's like, they try to cut you, and then once you look and make an eye contact, the guy starts apologizing, saying, well, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, you're not that from this car, and this Yeah. They usually disregard the rules, but it's okay. No one really gets into an accidents here. That's a very interesting thing. In Moscow, everyone like obeys the rules, but their accidents are horrendous there, and a lot. Like, there's just too many cars. Yeah.
Well, folks.
Oh, LA, Seoul, Tashkent. Can you fly to Seoul directly from LA?
Yeah, sure.
Seoul is not, well, it's far, but it's not too far.
It's about a 10-hour flight from here
That's still a lot.
to Asia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's direct
Driving
flight to
in England
Seoul.
is
There's
even
direct
worse.
flight to. Now, if I was going to Tashkent from here, flying from the West Coast, yeah, probably the connection from here is through Doha or through Qatar.
Yeah, Doha. That's
Yeah.
where my friend was flying out. I didn't sleep 2 nights, literally, because I was waiting for him at the airport, and Dubai got flooded 2 days ago. And he couldn't fly out of Doha because they weren't allowing planes to land in Dubai. And then he got delayed by 24 hours. And then that messed up my sleep. So I slept 1 night, 1 hour, one night, and then a couple hours another night. And then threw me off. And I just I'm feeling so drained of energy. And then I'm ready to go to bed now.
I hear you, brother. I
Yeah.
get that about once a month, and sometimes we all just need a reset. So
Mhm.
hopefully
I
we can
suggest
all
we
get
take
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's that?
Well, I said hopefully we can all get that. And hopefully I wish that for our audience too. Wish that everybody gets a chance to get a little bit of a physical and mental reset over the holiday season. So,
Mental and physical. Mental and physical. Hey, I suggest we take a few questions from the audience, and we kind of like wrap up our year
yeah,
at
that
Brain
sounds
Drain. And
good.
personally, if you have some time, because we're 20 minutes over time.
No, that sounds like a plan.
Tamara, you in?
She's still here. Let's see about the comment.
Yes.
You okay with the time?
Okay, yes. No, not okay with my health, but okay with my
Are you still
time.
feeling not well?
Yes. I would like to wish to our audience peace and love, and most importantly, peace and love.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely second that notion. That's one thing we do at Brain Drain is every click we make, every action we take is to help people and to add to the positivity in the world. And that's one of the things I enjoy working with the team is we're doing positive things for positive people.
I couldn't agree more. Russia is in a state. I mean, it's waging a war in Ukraine, but at the same time, the tragedy is the people who are in charge of Russia. They're destroying the country. I should say they have destroyed it already. Okay, the damage is done, and now the results are kind of like showing up. And one of the results is the crime wave is up. Okay, the crime rate is growing by a great deal, and there are more and more frauds appearing in Russia because people just want to, defraud other people. They want quick money, and they can't make money in other ways. And I remember that very much in the 90s. When people also there was this similar situation, there were not too many opportunities to earn decent living, so they just would lie to people, take their money, trick them, fraud them. That's we're seeing the same thing starts happening. And I was, you know, I monitor the situation. I see so many cases of, you know, people lose their savings, lose their money, they cry, they are devastated. Some people even take their lives, and it's terrible. And I was thinking about us, and you know, I imagine how terrible it must be to be that person who defraud other people and cause such a great tragedy in other people's lives. And us, myself personally, and all of you, with the, you know, us, the team, we're doing the opposite. We're trying to see the good, and we're trying to give people hope. You know, we're trying to make their lives better, and it's just, this is reward in itself. You know what I mean? So I enjoy doing it very much. I get inspired by every step that we take because it makes people happier. It gives them support. It gives them hope. I love it. Thank you very much, Eric. You've done tremendous job helping Brain Drain, and Tamara. Same to you and everyone else. Thank you. You are awesome. You're really the warriors of light.
Well, and back to you. You are the co-founder or the co-inspiration of this whole idea, you and Manis. Now, unfortunately, our other co-founder is otherwise disposed on a personal obligation right now, but Manis sends his regards too to everybody. But no,
Manos
if
is
it
one of
weren't
those
if it
things.
weren't for Constantine's inspiration of starting the Breakfast Club and keeping Constantine, you keeping your head up throughout your challenges, you're the catalyst of all this. So pat yourself on the back too.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. You know, there's a song by Bob Seger, a very old song, Against the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how I've been feeling for the past 3.5, well, almost 4 years now. I've been running against the wind, you know, and the wind tries to knock me down in one way or another. And but all I can either fall down and stay down, or I can, and I have felt many times in these 4 years, or I can just try to get up and take step and after another step and keep on going, because that's pretty simple, and that's what I've been doing. So but then I can't really do anything by myself. I was, when I started Tashkent Breakfast Club for about 10 days, I had breakfasts by myself. You know, I was, you know, I would invite everyone, and then one guy showed up finally, and another one showed up, and then I remember 7 showed up, and that was such a joy, and it was such a delightful day. And it's all about, you know, people. When people join you, when people get together, when people help each other. And then I told everyone, look, I want to get people together so we get some kind of help, mental help, you know, perhaps advice. And everyone loved this idea, and they started helping right away. They started like, what can I do? What can I do? Started like thinking together and getting together and all of that. So it's about the team. It's about people. Me and Manos, we had this good idea, and when we tried to push it for so long until you all came on board. And then when the ship started moving, sailing, before it was just docked there, you know. So but that's the teamwork, it's the people. So thank you very much.
Well, I think that's a really positive note to end the stream on. We could talk all day here about different things, but I think we've already expressed our gratitude. Definitely want to express our gratitude to the audience who tunes in and who has followed us and who's carried over from inside Russia. We hope to, in the new year, continue to bring you many more interesting topics. many more interesting guests. We're working on some affiliates where we're going to team up with some streams. We're going to be reviewing our processes about how we actually go about bringing people into the States at some point next year. Anything else? Oh, as I said before, I'm going to show a QR code here, braindrain.work/giveaway. If you'd like to go between now and the first of the year, share with all your friends and family. We're giving away a free item of your choice from the store. All you have to do is give your email address. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get a couple of extra entries.
Wonderful, wonderful. Friends, thank you very much. It's a good opportunity to get something for, New Year, for Christmas. Thank you for all of you who have come today. Jodes, Scott, Kier, Sam, the legend, Kate, Tracker, Will. I'm not sure if Will is a boat or not. Amir, definitely thank you very much. So
yeah,
Eb, Polar Express. I'm very bad with names. I'm sorry. So who else? Frey, Jeremy. So friends, thank you very much. And next year is going to be a breakthrough for us. This year we've built the foundation, and we have everything to, we build up the system, we build up the team, build up the processes, and we network. Thank to Eric and Tamara and everyone, Natasha and Osmanus. And I think next year will be the breakthrough. I think everyone will be hearing about us much more.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're the superstars that we're working for. Eventually you're going to hear about one of the people we bring to the United States in a positive light. So we've got a lot of good things ahead. All right,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you
everyone.
Merry
Thank you,
Christmas.
and Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year, and we'll see you again soon.
С Новым годом.
Yes. С Новым годом.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this and maybe even learned something new. If you did, don't just vanish into the algorithm. Hit like, subscribe, and follow us on social. It's the easiest way to support our work and make sure you never miss what's next. Want to stay in the loop without relying on big tech's mood swings? Sign up for our monthly newsletter. And if you've got the means, donations of any size keep our programs running strong. As a 501c3, your gift is tax deductible where the law allows. Together, we can turn Brain Drain into America's next big breakthrough.